So in working with this technique, you want to start with a white base is the best. What I like to do if I'm going to have part of the white showing is what you see here. I'm going to go a little bit different with my white base. So what I did was on the white base, I used white metallic, and then I also used a blue pearl. So that would be able to show through where some of those areas are going to show. So what I'm doing here is I've waited about, an hour and a half, and then I bagged that top so I could wake those metallics up, and you can see how now you can see the white metallic, and you can also see that blue pearl in there. And that's going to stay because I bagged it so late in the pour, and it's really going to add a cool effect for wherever that white is going to show through that Claramarble technique. Really, really ended up looking nice. So let's get on to it. Okay. All right, this is going in the men's bathroom in a bar, women's bathroom in a bar. So this is going to get the claridescent technique or the watercolor technique. So I'm going to start here in this corner because it's going to be the least conspicuous, just to see if I've got my colors, where I want them, and how I want them. So I'm going to get my alcohol down, and let's get started. You will go through a lot of paper towels with this technique. So this first color I'm going to use is called a warm gray. And what else have we got here? It's got some blue in it. And let's start just moving those around. So I'm going to speed this up while I'm adding some colors in there, and you can see I've got some grays and some different shades of blue to try to tie in with the tile that they're going to have in the women's bathroom. But, I'm just not sure if that's what I wanted. I think I want to go with just some primarily gray, and let's start that one over. So that's one of the biggest advantages of the Claramarble technique. Spray it down, wipe it off, and start over. And you can see that some of the dyes left a stain there, and that's perfectly okay. I'm going to have some color over it anyway. It's got some blue to it. So as I speed this up and start adding in some colors, take note of there are areas where the color is very thin, there are areas where the color is heavier. As I use my hair dryer, the more I thin the colors out, the more translucent or transparent that they become. And then also how I will layer the colors one on top of the other. And if you look closely, you can see where there are some outlines around some of those colors. That adds a really, really cool effect. So as I'm using my hair dryer, I'm blowing the colors out where I want the color thin. I'm leaving the colors heavy where I want it a little bit heavier. And as you can see on this picture right here, see how translucent and even iridescent some of those colors are. Now some of that iridescence comes from the metallic powders that I use in when I mix the colors, and those colors there's another picture too where you can see that where those areas thin out, it makes the color a lot lighter, and it really gives it a lot of different shades of those particular colors. Now I'm going to move over to this other area and start working on it, and you can see where I'm leaving some areas white. what I was pointing out right there is about where the drop-in sink is going to be. So I don't want to put a whole lot of really cool design where they're going to be cutting a hole out to put their sink in. But you can see where I'm kind of layering the colors on top of each other, where I want them heavy, where I want them a little bit lighter. Where I'm working there is more towards the back of that vanity top. So being somewhat strategic, I guess, of where I'm putting those colors and how I want that final design to look. But man, look at how iridescent some of those colors are. So when I mix up my colors, I'm using some Alumilite dyes. I'm also using some Resin Arte Mica Powders. Those tend to work the best and dissolve the best within the small bottles of alcohol. And that's where that iridescence comes from, is from those mica powders. So a mixture of the dyes, and some of the colors I mixed have some dye and some mica powder in it. Again, to kind of give it that overall look, or that kind of overall effect, so to speak. So as I finish up adding the colors to this piece and getting it the way I like it, I want to explain a little bit more of the process after you get all of your colors down the way you like it. Once the alcohol completely dissipates, and that could take, I usually wait a day, then I'm going to take the Krylon UV archival spray in a matte finish. If you can't find that, you can use Rust-Oleum's clear spray paint in a matte finish. Put 3 to 5 coats, very, very light coats. You're just wanting to seal all of those colors down. So when you do put a clear coat over the top of that, it does not reactivate those colors. So here's an overview and kind of a flyover where you can really see the iridescence of those colors. You can see where some of the colors are a little heavier, some are a little lighter. See the outlines that are in there, which really add a cool effect. And so now that wow, it just turned out really nice. So after I did that, and I sprayed it with 3 to 5 coats of the archival clear matte spray paint, then I applied a flood coat. I let that flood coat dry for 24 hours, and then I'm ready to apply the ultimate top coat in the gloss finish, and that's what's coming up next. So stay tuned. All right, time for UTC. This is going to get UTC Gloss. This piece over here, I don't know if you can see it or not, over here, is going to get UTC Matte. So I've got my 220. I have my magic eraser. That's to clean off the 220 sanding disc when all the buildup gets on here. So I'm just going to lightly scuff this to prep it for UTC. See how that already loads up? And I can take my magic eraser, cleans that off and does not take off the grit. So this clear coat, the flood coat, is 24 hours old, and that's why it loads up on the paper, because it's still somewhat soft. And it's important to keep your sanding disc clean. Because of the buildup that's on there, it could put deeper scratches in the surface that the ultimate top coat is not going to fill. So you want to make sure and keep your sanding disc clean. All right, this is one final step I take before applying the UTC. Is I have a 9-inch roller. I have tape backwards on the roller, and that has made basically that is a homemade lint roller. And of course, after sanding, I did wipe it down thoroughly with 91% isopropyl alcohol. 1 ounce of part B. Oh, make sure I get it open. Okay. By the way, I put press and seal over the cap before I put it on, just to make sure I got a good tight seal. All right, so we got 2 ounces. So at 10 square feet, I rounded up to needing 3 ounces, so that'll be 2 to 1, 2 ounces of part A, 1 ounce of part B, and then being UTC Gloss is going to be 50% water added. Look how thick that is. That's like a thick paste. That's why you're adding 50% water to the UTC Gloss, but only 0.16 to the UTC Natural. So let's get our 1.5 ounces of water added in. But you can tell how the consistency has changed dramatically. Now, because I only have 3 ounces, I'm not going to be using a paint tray. I'm going to roll this I'm going to pour it directly onto the surface and then roll it out. It's not my favorite way of doing it, but that's the way I'm going to do it. All right, got that thoroughly mixed. Everything's clean off the stick. Got my wet roller. Got the camera turned. Okay. My wet roller and my dry roller. So I'm going to roll this lengthwise. Now when you have a paint tray, you're able to saturate your roller. Obviously, if I'm pouring it onto the surface, it's going to saturate as I'm rolling. That's why I poured the amount of product that I did. And then this is a really important part, that you make sure that you get 100% coverage. I roll in all different directions. Catch my edges. Now this roller sucks. This roller is not rolling to get product on my edges. That just sucks. I got a bad roller. So I'm going to use one of my other ones, which it's not been saturated. So I'm gonna have to put more product down. Oh man, that just sucks, doesn't it? That's rolling much better. So the roller, you got to be really careful. All right, I believe I have good coverage on everything, including my edges. So I'm going to back roll with my wet roller one last time. Before I dry roll. Okay, now I'm going to dry roll. Hopefully my dry roller rolls very lightly with only the weight of the roller. And that's it. Catch my edges. Okay, I'm done. So let's do a flyover now that the UTC, the Ultimate Top Coat Gloss, has had a chance to dry. This really turned out nice. So you can see when the light hits it, especially with the gloss top coat on there, where you can really see the colors and how vibrant they are, and how iridescent it is in places. With the colors, there's dark areas, there's light areas. One of the things I didn't talk too much about was that front edge, because the camera was facing away from it. But you really have to watch that front edge, because those colors will want to run down those edges and kind of look like runs. And so by using your alcohol dyes and just using regular alcohol, you can kind of babysit those front edges. There's some gold. Sorry, I didn't get that in there, but I did add some of that 007 gold in there. There's some more of it that you can see that really turned out nice. So this is a fairly new technique that a lot of people are learning. Clara Lawrence is the master there's more of that gold. Clara Lawrence is the master at this, so hit her up. But thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to click the subscribe button as I try to grow my YouTube channel. I appreciate everyone watching, and leave some comments down below and tell me what you think. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you on the next video.